Awesome. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today to talk a little bit about your experience and kind of your journey from, deciding to start learning UX all the way to where you're at currently now. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what were you doing before you ever found out what UX was?
Yeah, of course. I'm Camille. I am an alumni of the course, obviously, and I prior to UX, my timeline, I graduated in 2020 with a dance degree, straight into COVID, and realized really fast there were certain things I wanted in my work that just weren't going to happen in that field. I think COVID made a lot of us realize that we wanted certain things, and I was no different. And a huge factor for me was stability. That was what I was looking for, and that was really hard to find in that field. For work, I was doing a lot of side jobs. So I did have a couple of dance things, but because of COVID, it was pretty minimal. I was also tutoring during that time, just because everyone was going, working from home, like lots of young children needed tutors that way.
Yeah.
And I also did a lot of physical stuff. So I was painting inside houses and breaking leaves for friends and stuff like that. So my work experience is pretty minimal. Yeah.
Cool. So you graduate 2020, dance degree, you're trying to figure out how do you come across UX? Where do you hear about UX for the first time? And when you do hear about it, is it oh, this would be perfect for me, or do you have doubts? How much research I know you, but how much research did you do? And what did that look like for you to decide, I'm going to start learning this?
Yeah, I learned about UX in April of 2021, so almost a full year since I graduated. And I learned about it from a friend who actually had just started a different boot camp. And we just connected, and she's like, I'm doing this thing. I think you might be good at it. You're creative and you're empathetic as a person. And so I looked into what she was doing, into the boot camp she was in. And I also started just researching a little bit. I always didn't think I was a good researcher, so I didn't go that much in depth, but the algorithm kicked in pretty fast and started shooting me all these things. And one of them was Avocademy, a recording, a webinar that you had done. And so I watched that, and I believe I met you. I'm blanking because it's a couple years ago, but we talked, and then I started talking to friends and family, and I did that more so than any desk research. They all had mixed feelings. Some people thought it was a scam, weird name, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but I was really just stuck. I think why it worked out so well was that I was just in this place where I was doing all these things. I knew they weren't sustainable. At least I didn't want to make them long term. And I was really just in a place where I wanted to improve in some way. And this offered that. And so I don't think I really thought okay, I'm going to join this boot camp and then get a job in this field. It was more so I'm going to join this boot camp, learn skills, and grow. And the thing too that really helped was that UX, the job description, fit so many of the things that I was looking for in work. And so I had written out this whole list of things that I wanted, and it checked all the boxes. And so that helped me take the leap. Very little desk research. I enrolled in the course a month later, so May. Yeah.
Nice. So you enroll, you find out it's not a scam, and you start, you start in the course. So this is what, May 2021?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So if it's two years ago, right?
It's 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years. So May 2021, you start the course. How does it feel? You start, are you oh, what did I sign up for? Or are you excited and ready for a challenge? What did foundations yeah.
It was really positive for me. And one of the reasons why I chose a course instead of just learning by myself is because I know myself, and I'm a procrastinator, and I'm really good at not doing what I know I want to do. And so I was like, if I pay for something, that puts a lot more pressure on me to do the work and to learn. So that was one factor. The other factor at the time, it was a 6-week course, not month, sorry, 6-week course. Yeah. And so that was really helpful for me too, because it really put so much pressure on me to do the work. And so those were the two big things I think that really helped me choose this course, and also cost. In the process, I don't remember a ton, to be honest. I think I was just so busy learning. There wasn't like fear of learning. I think the course did a really great job of breaking things down and making it really accessible to learn. I do remember like getting really frustrated with like myself sometimes, of just like, I'm not getting this, what's going on, and like not getting an activity approved sometimes. And now I know why, because it wasn't ready, but it definitely, like, I had a lot of emotion around that, and that more reflected on me than the course. But it would definitely, it was just a learning phase. And I was, yeah.
Cool. So you finished the course. Did the light bulb go off like during foundations, or was it later on? Because I know sometimes it's like, it's not till much later on that you're like, okay, I get it. And you understand kind of like how this all fits together. So yeah, how long did it take you to finish the course? Did you finish in the 6 weeks? Did it take a little longer? And then were you like, okay, awesome, like I'm going to pursue a career in this, or were you?
Oh my God, no, none of that. I finished in 8 weeks, which was still 2 weeks longer than I thought I was supposed to. So that was a pressure for me, and I know it's different now. I did career jumpstart straight away, and I don't think it was more, again, I don't think I was thinking of like the job and getting a job. It was more just like, this is the next step to continue growing and learning and pushing myself. And so that took 2 months as well. So I finished all my projects within 4 months. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's right. So you finished foundations in 8 weeks. So that's 2 months.
Didn't answer your question.
And then no, that makes sense. You joined CJ right away. Took you 2 months to finish projects. You did 2 projects in CJ?
3. I did 3. And then like, while I was also applying for work, I did 2 more. One of them was a design challenge that I did with another student, and another was I got into a startup that didn't pay me, and so that was another project. But sorry, I want to backtrack quickly to like when you said like, when did the light bulb go off? It didn't go off until I was applying for work. So talk about a long time, and so it took me a while to like really get it. So So you're like 4 months into this, thing, and you have 4 projects, right? Around 4 months in, you have your 3 CJ projects, your 1 foundations project. You start applying for work. How did you feel then? And like, what was that kind of like roller coaster like? It was. So I think just through this whole process, my huge thing has been my own confidence and within myself. And applying for work really showcased that. I didn't start for like 15 days when I technically should have in the first month, because I was so scared of rejection and feeling the rejection. So I just didn't do it, which is very characteristic of me. And then when I started doing it, I started getting rejections right away, because it's kind of it's how it works. A big learning point for me there was, as soon as I started getting them, I could let go of that idea, that I'd be perfect for everyone. And they started coming in, and they just started rolling off my back. It was really like waiting was the worst thing I could have done. Starting was the best thing I could have done, because it helped me move forward that much faster. Right. My first month of interviewing was really bad, because I was so honest with people in a negative way, because I was so worried I'd like sneak in somehow, and then they'd realize I didn't know anything. And so then I was so transparent of like, I have like 6 months of work under that, and my prior work is in dance, and no one I don't know anything. And
I remember we had a conversation where I was like, stop convincing people they should not hire you.
I know.
Like, I remember saying that to you, and I was like, why are you, like, they've decided to interview. Why are you trying to get them to not hire you?
It was crazy. And the turning point for me was that you kept like sending my application out. You told me this, like about a month in, and you're like, okay, I'm going to send your application out. You'd be the only designer, but it does pay 110, and I know you can do it. And that was the moment for me, the light bulb of like, oh my gosh, this person I've known for under half a year has so much faith in me that she's sticking her neck out for me over and over again. And how can someone feel that way for me, and I don't have that for myself? And so that was like the biggest turnaround, and that's when everything started changing around, where I started changing my language around myself and my previous experience. And turns out dance has a lot in common with UX. And so yeah, it's pretty wonderful. Yeah.
Nice. So you start, talking more highly of yourself. You start being more confident in your interviews. What does the rest of your job search look like?
Yeah, so I applied for 2.5 months. I applied to 284 jobs total. The job I eventually got was through like my 33rd application. So that tells you a lot, right? Just the time period. Early on, I did get a position, like I mentioned, in a startup. They didn't have funding. And so I took it on as like an unpaid internship in a sense. You helped me decide to do that. And I really did that because I had, they had another designer on board who had 4 years of experience. And I was like, yes, this is for me, a mentor. And then she ended up leaving. And so I was the only one being like, WTF. Sorry about that. So like, yeah, it definitely was just like, it was just a huge learning experience. Yeah, and it also helped me too, because I'd never had like that kind of work before. All my previous work was dance focused or arts focused, and I'm in a play, I'm in a musical, like that kind of stuff. And so it was huge. Yeah.
I remember when we were talking about that startup opportunity, and I was like, traditionally, I wouldn't encourage anyone to take like an unpaid work, but I was like, if you have the time, like if you have the means to do this while you keep searching, I could tell, I was like, this is going to help her confidence. Like, I know as soon as she just realizes she can do it, she's doing it, it'll help her get like, the paid job. So I was really glad and happy when you decided to take it. So you take that job, but you're there for how long? Like a month or two, right? Not even?
Yeah, month tops. And again, like it was unpaid and they were very early on. So I'm not sure, I'm not sure how like, reflective that is of most startups, which probably not at all, because it was so early. It was just, I think it was just a great learning experience. Like you said, working with stakeholders, and there's the CEO right there, and there's developers right there, and you're working. And so it did give me confidence, and just like the sense of like, hey, I'm doing it. Like they're asking me to do these things and I'm doing it. So that was really helpful. Really mindset, I think, is the biggest takeaway through all of this for me. So shortly after you get like your paid job, how does that feel, like, seeing that offer and being like, all right, like someone wants to pay me to do this and I have this job? Yeah, I got it. And I remember calling you and just walking around my apartment freaking out about it. And you're like, I'm not sure I can say this, but you're like, ask for more.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you serious? It's like, it's basically what I was expecting, kind of thing. And you just walked me through, and it was just so surreal. And honestly, I, again, like with my whole mindset of just like learning and growing, and that's what I was there to do. Honestly, it didn't really, like, I wasn't like, oh my God, I got a job. It was more so like, oh my God, someone's going to pay me now, which, that was just ridiculous to me. It was ridiculous.
Did you, I don't remember telling you to negotiate. That's great. Did they give you a little more? Like, did you get?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. You helped me write out everything to say, and they came back and bumped it.
Nice.
$5,000.
Yeah. That's awesome. So this was around what time? So we're saying you started foundations in May 2021. When did you have the job?
Yeah. So May to end of June foundations, July to August finishing Career Jumpstart, and then I started applying mid-September, and September, October, November I got the job, but I didn't start for a month. It kept getting pushed back for some reason, but I did have the job. So so that's my timeline. So
you started around December, January?
I started December. December. December.
So also that's like what, 6
really
months?
Fast.
6 months.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so are you still there? Like, how is it?
I'm still there.
Do you enjoy the job? How's it been? It's been what, a year and a half?
Almost,
half?
Yeah, I do enjoy it. There's a team, which it was really important to me. I was like, I can't just jump into something and be the only person, and learn as I go. So that was really important. I have really great coworkers. UX is kind of newer, which I feel is really normal, and it is a bigger company. So definitely, like, it's not just, sometimes it can get a little frustrating with just like a lot of the work is to showcase what UX is, and that is important, right? And so I think that's something that I didn't really comprehend, but it's part of the role, and it will just get better, right, as time goes on. So that's really exciting. It's coming from dance and from my passion for so long, and then getting burnt out and realizing there was nothing there, because like when your passion leaves and you're not getting paid, what are you standing on, right? So that was really, really difficult for me to learn. And then so transitioning into craftsman mindset around like, as I work and put energy into this, I will improve and enjoy it more and more. And I do enjoy it, but it was really this shift of mindset that was helping me like take a chance on something that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be on stage. What does that look like? But I'm still creating, I'm still helping, I'm still, giving, in this way. So yeah.
That's great. How did your family feel when you got the job, going from like, oh, I think this might be a scam, like I don't know if you want to do this, to like 6 months later getting this like pretty good paycheck, and
they were so proud of me. I think it was kind of a surprise though too, just because like I don't think you understand how much I was making prior. Like I've never made over 10 grand in artwork, in arts work. And then to get a tech salary right off the gate, like as a generalist, that was just really surprising, I think, to a lot of them, especially, my siblings who have been working for a bit, and I'm right up there, if not more, kind of thing. So it was really surprising, and it was very lucky, very grateful. That's
awesome. And we've brought you back to talk about mindset and talk about confidence. I think the work that, like, all the conversations that I had with you about, like, just start applying, you got to start applying, you're gonna get rejections, but you got to start applying. And even from the, like, take the unpaid job before you got the paid job, like all of that work that we did. I feel like when you share that story with folks, it's like super powerful, especially people that are in it and like can't really see too far, right? Like when you're just putting in those applications and all you get rejections, it's hard to see like the future, in 4 months or 5 months or however long that takes. So we brought you back to do that. We brought you back to help with the baby avocados and foundations and kind of getting them started. Are you doing anything else, like as part of, you're a year and a half into UX, you do some like mentoring with us and kind of help out. Is there anything else you're doing in the UX world? Like any additional courses? Like what does that like look like for you?
So mentorship has been a huge thing. You brought me on while I was actually applying for work. I've been a mentor for over a year too, which has been really exciting to me too. That really is like a big part of my life and something that I really, really enjoy. I like you said, I meet students really early on, and so we get to talk about this stuff, like the fear and the stress and stuff like that, and also like talking about like, wait, take a step back, beginner, this is where you learn, this is where you ask questions and make mistakes and all this kind of stuff. And so I really enjoy that. I have been taking some courses in Skillshare, not just around UX, though some of it is, especially around accessible design. I think that's something that I'm starting to really work on. I did go to XCon this year, and so I feel like I am broadening slightly, like through these ways. But I think like I'm so grateful to still be with Avocademy, instead of avocado, because it does keep me in the loop. Like everyone's always constantly sharing things, podcasts, articles around the field, and it's helpful. It's really helpful to keep me in the loop.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share about your current job or kind of where you're at before I ask you one last kind of wrap up question?
I think just kind of going back to like mindset and everything around it. I think the biggest thing that holds us back is ourselves. And that's my opinion, but like I had so much crap in my mindset around like, you're too stupid to get a tech job. You're too stupid to make over 30K a year. Like you have nothing that actually helps you showcase your work. And then I'm talking to so many students and they have so much to offer, they have work experience in other fields and they're so I think it's so easy to discount that and to be like, oh,
Yeah.
but it's not in tech, it's not helping me here. And you have to look at the whole picture. You have so much to offer. And any previous experience, if I can turn dance around, like dance is so good for UX, collaborative, you're working in groups, you're in different roles all the time, and you're working fast, projects that just, it's really, really fast. And so it's really just about wording and finding that confidence in yourself. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. Awesome. So final question is, what would be your piece of advice for someone that is currently considering like taking the first step? So not even like join Avocademy, but like thinking about starting the learning process, whether it is through us or like a master's degree or self-learning, like what would you tell them?
Know yourself. I say this all the time to our students, and I think it's just so important. Knowing how you work and what could be your slip ups, and then setting yourself up for success by changing, how you set yourself up. Again, like going back to procrastination, I knew that like I really needed a tight timeline, and if I didn't have that, it would go down the drain, And so other people, it's something else, it's really just about knowing yourself and helping you succeed. Can I do one little one too off of that, which maybe but again, like acknowledging where you are. I have so many people come in and they're like, they get so worried about making everything so perfect that it gets in the way of moving forward. And so that's a great time to have this conversation of like, hey, you're a beginner. You're not going to make the best case study in the world, and nor should you. You shouldn't be in a foundations course if you're going to do that. So this is your time to really learn what UX is, the ups and downs, what parts you like, what parts maybe that you don't like, and how you move from one thing to the next. And that's what you're here to do. So mistakes are welcome, questions are welcome. All of this is really, this is where you should be as a student, and to take off some of that pressure from yourself, because it's a lot, to learn something new can be really scary. So give yourself space. You're doing great just by showing up. So show up.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you so much for joining us today, and congrats on, all the success in your job, and just kind of like how far you've come, right? It makes me really proud to be like, okay, she was like really doubting herself, and look at you now, year and a half of like being in this job and in this career. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.